Thanks for joining us this morning. Like and share our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Y'all, I have no idea how to stop that intro, and I also don't know how it started. So y'all forgive me. It's the Sunday morning worship intro, but it was connected to my StreamYard. But good afternoon and welcome to Check In. Glad to have you all. Getting started late today, and I apologize for that. Had some issues also with trying to get this started. One of them was the intro, but we're here. We're glad to be here. And we are glad you're checking in. Do me a favor and come into the comments and say hello. It is indeed check in. So the first thing I want to ask you to do is check in by just saying hello. Remember, if you're not staying, don't let that hinder you from speaking. You don't want to come in and speak and leave. I always remind you, I cannot see when you come and go. I can't see when you say hello. So do me a favor and go ahead and say hello, because it is check in, and come into the comments and just let me know you are here. I'm also irked by this banner that I don't know how to get rid of. I feel like it ought to give me an option to stop this ticker. And it is not. Let's try this. Let's try a different ticker. And then stop it. There we go. All right, you all. We're getting down to business. Let me talk to those people who will come in here and because they won't watch this live. For those of you who will watch a recording of this, means you're not watching it live, means it's not in the 12 o'clock hour on Thursday afternoon, then I want you to feel free to fast forward and move to whatever part of the check-in is most valuable to you. If you're not watching live, maybe you don't want to watch the whole thing. You want to get right to the prayer. You can fast forward and go to the prayer. Maybe you want to get right to the word. You can fast forward and go right into the word. So whatever fits and whatever fits you, let me encourage you to do that. And I've said welcome to Community Check-In. Do me a favor, for those of you coming in, like and share, and that's what I have not done. So I'm going to like and share and then we're going to get into this question of the day. All right, now I want to let you know this question is a question of the day, but I don't want you to feel pressure if you're not giving up anything for Lent or you've not decided. I always want to encourage you. Just because you didn't start Lent on the first day doesn't mean you can't start Lent today, tomorrow, Monday. So I do want to encourage you to participate in Lent with us this thing. What are you giving up for Lent? That's our question of the day. And if you don't know, that's fine. I'll start. I don't know if any of you all were at the Ash Wednesday worship experience last night, but I'm doing two things for Lent. The first thing I'm doing is I'm giving up sweets, desserts, foods, desserts, and I'm giving up like juices and sodas and sweet drinks. So I will. I will drink protein shakes. They have a little sugar in them, and that's why I'm not saying I'm giving up on hard sugar. But juices, no juices and no sodas, things like that. And that's what I'm giving up for Lent. But I'm also I'm doing an ad. I'm also going to be journaling every day of Lent for at least 10 minutes a day. So that's my Lent. What are you giving up for Lent? I told you all last night, even when you add something, you're also giving up, because I'm giving up the 10 minutes of my day that I might spend watching TV, on my phone, sleep, um, recreationally, whatever it is, but I'm giving that up to focus on journaling and adding that spiritual practice to my life. I want to journal. And so I'm going to journal for these next 40 days. All right. What are you giving up for Lent? What are you giving up for Lent? Into the comments, let me go ahead and say hello to those of you who said hello. Evelyn Ellis, great to see you today and glad to have you. Deacon Patricia Burton, glad to see you as well. Dee Dee Holmes Wigfall, good to see you today and good afternoon. I like this, Deacon Burton. Deacon Burton says, I'm giving up fried foods and desserts. Evelyn Ellis says, I'm giving up the need to react to any negative things from people and events. I like that. I like that. We're answering this question. What are you giving up for Lent? What are you giving up for Lent? That's the question of the day. As you're coming in, go ahead and answer the question of the day. You all, we are talking about what I like to talk about annually. Every February, y'all, we're going to talk about this at least one time, because February is a very special month. And one of my top 5 favorite trees starts to bloom in February, and that gives me hope. I want to talk about that today. I talk about it every month. Every year, we got to talk about cherry blossoms. Why? Because if you go outside now and you see a tree and it's starting to bloom pink or bloom white, 9 times out of 10, that's a cherry blossom. And I want to talk about that today. In fact, I'm going straight into my word. If you have prayer requests, Deacon Burton, I have your prayer request. Thank you so much. If anybody else has prayer requests, don't forget to give them to me. I'd love to pray for your people, your family, your friends. So I need you to go ahead and let me know who it is I'm praying for. Jalea Burton, Gloria Austin Robinson, M. Robinson, Robert Austin. All right. I have your prayers. Deacon Patricia Burton. Y'all, let's get right into it. We're talking about cherry blossoms today, and it's not a new topic, but I like to talk about it every year because this is one of the most interesting trees in our vegetative life. Of course, I'm coming from my book, Live Greater, Think Deeper, Love Better. I'm doing a little bit of book, doing a little bit of talking, little bit of book, a little bit of talking. But let's talk about cherry blossoms. There's a reason, beloved, that winter is a metaphor for the roughest patches in our life. Whenever we talk about going through a rough patch, we often talk about going through a winter. If you're a Game of Thrones watcher, you know they have a big saying there, winter is coming. Winter is a metaphor for our deadest moments, for our worst moments, for our saddest moments, for our most depressed moments, for our hardest challenges. Winter is a metaphor. Why? Because winter is rough. Winter is rough. Trees lose leaves, flowers lose blossoms, animals lose weight, and sometimes animals lose their life, all because their inability to navigate the hardships of winter. Winter is tough, and all of us know what it feels like to have a winter moment. Maybe it's a winter of you had a winter in your day. In the middle of your day, you just had an hour or two that was really rough. Maybe you had a winter in your month. Maybe you're going through a winter right now. But winter is tough. Winter storms paralyze schools, paralyzes cities. It closes schools. It shuts down airports. Winter, beloved, is tough. In fact, so often when we're going through the times in life that seem lifeless, we use winter to describe that reality. Seasonally, winter lasts from December 21st to March 20th. So by February, we are in the dead middle of winter. We are in what some of the worst winter storms happen in February. Some of the coldest temperatures happen in February. February often has some of the most frigid temperatures and deadliest storms. However, in Georgia, another thing happens. In mid-February, in the middle of winter. You know what that thing is? You know what it is. I'm about to tell you anyway. The first blossoms of cherry blossom trees happen in February. Isn't that amazing? That in the middle of winter, where things are deader than they've ever been, there's a tree that God created to begin blossoming in the cold, in the frigid temperatures, and in the dead of winter. As one whose favorite season is spring and whose least favorite is winter, I literally long to see the first blooms of the cherry blossom trees. No matter how cold it gets, no matter how freezing it gets, no matter how barren the land is, cherry blossoms remind me that spring is coming. You see, beloved, I love cherry blossoms because they teach me two very important lessons in life. And I hope while you're driving in Georgia this February, you'll begin to peek and notice cherry blossoms. It's hard to go anywhere in Georgia and not see some. They are everywhere. Right now, if you see a tree blooming pink, see a tree blooming white, 9 times out of 10, it's a cherry blossoms. They teach two important lessons that I want to leave with you today, that I leave with you every year in this February. Two important lessons. One, God has given us trees that are somehow able to bloom in the middle of the winter. That means when the temperatures are at the lowest, the ground is at its hardest, the storms are at their most abundant, the cherry blossom still finds a way to flourish and still finds a way to flower. Just as God put trees in nature that can bloom in the midst of winter, I believe God puts parts in us that can find ways to achieve, find ways to accomplish, and find ways to thrive when times are at their worst. That's what cherry blossoms remind us. We can win even in the cold. We can bloom even in harsh circumstances. We can blossom even in the most difficult situations. That's the first thing that I want to give you today. I don't care how hard it is, how sad you are, how many people are dying, how many health scares you're getting, how many health scares are around you. You are built to still flourish in the cold. Secondly, here's the thing that cherry blossoms teach us. They remind me that winter doesn't last forever. That's what cherry blossoms remind us. Whereas some trees bloom after their leaves have come, what I love about cherry blossoms is they bloom before their leaves come in the spring. In this way, the cherry blossom bloom is a precursor. It is a preview to what is coming. Cherry blossoms let us know that although it's cold, although the snow may be real, the temperatures may be frigid, they remind us that this will not last always. They tell us even though we see no leaves, leaves are coming. Even though we feel maybe no heat, heat is coming. Even though we don't see the green of grass and the flowering of the blooms, cherry blossoms remind us that spring is coming. They let us know that a new season is coming in life and in the tree itself. And if we look close enough, we find that cherry blossoms are like reminders in our life. They remind us winters don't come to last, they come to pass. No matter how barren our lives, how cold our circumstances during winter, spring comes next. There comes a time when life does return. There comes a time when flowers do bloom. There comes a time when warm weather prevails. You just have to hold on. And every now and then, in the midst of the worst of times, God gives you a reminder. It won't last. And that's what cherry blossoms do. I want to encourage someone today to remember these two lessons. Circumstances do not always determine your ability to bloom and blossom. You can flourish in winter. Additionally, winter doesn't last forever. So even if you can't flourish in winter, it doesn't last, and it's come to pass. Spring does come, and with spring comes life. With spring comes warmth. With spring comes sunshine. Wherever you are, whatever you're going through today, I pray that God will put a cherry blossom in your life. Every head bowed, every eye closed, every heart praying. God, we love you today and we honor you, and we thank you for who you are and for what you've done in our life and with our world. Today, God, we come, God, thanking you for the reminder of cherry blossoms. Today, God, I pray that you would stamp in someone's heart and impress in someone's mind that no matter, even if they're going through the worst of times, they can still flourish, they can still flower, and they can still be successful. God, we're not just meant to exist, we're meant to thrive. Push someone today, God, in the midst of the cold to continue to stand, to rise, and to deliver. But God, also we thank you that you remind us that the worst of times are not here to last, but we go through storms. We go through winters. And God, the truth of the matter is that somebody needs to be reminded today, spring is coming. I know it's hard, but spring is coming. Remind someone, tap someone on the shoulder who's ready to throw in the towel, God. Spring is coming. God, today I'm praying for those who we've called by name. Today I want to lift up my sister Cecilia Thompson as she's praying from healing and praying to be pain-free. Today I'm praying, God, for those who've been called by name. I'm praying for Jalea Burton, Robert Austin, Gloria Robinson, and M. Robinson. I'm lifting up today Earl Haynes, Betty Jean Richards, Geraldine Richard, Angela Smith, Andrea Tekedra Mitchell, Melanie Dukes, Altoria May, Patty Perry, Patricia Perry, Tracy Blackwell, James Walker, Bryce Jackson, and Heather Manley. For every name I've called, God, you know the circumstance and you know the situation. For every person that's on this line, God, you know the blessing that needs to be delivered. You know the path that needs to be cleared. You know the fence that needs to be guarded around. You know the grace that needs to abound, the mercy that needs to be given, the power that needs to show up, the love that needs to be assured. God, you know the situations we're going through. And so now, God, I stand in the middle of people's need and your ability to deliver. I stand right now in the middle of everyone on this Facebook Live, everyone on YouTube, everyone who will do this check-in, God. I stand in the middle. Asking God for you to heal and for you to set free. God, right now, I stand in the gap, God, asking you to move, asking you to bless, and asking you to give victory. And God, as you continue to do what you do, we will continue to give you the glory and the praise. In the loving, liberating, and life-giving name of Jesus, amen. And thank God. Beloved, I want to thank you for joining us. This Sunday is Greek Sunday. Come join us as we celebrate Greek life in Black community. Even if you're not Greek, come celebrate with us. And I pray that you have a great weekend. But before I leave, you know what I got to do. I got to touch and agree with some of you all. Cherry blossom mid-February bloom and bloom flourish in the worst times. Come on, y'all. Spring is coming. Good afternoon, Michelle Gordon. It's good to see you. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Patricia Burton. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Michelle Gordon. Dee Dee, I'm touching and agreeing with you. Mama, I'm touching and agreeing with you. May God bless each and every one of you. May God keep each and every one of you. And please remember to live in love. You all have a great weekend.
Just give me enough. on to you. Remember, live in love.
Forever depending on you.